Soybeans are an important commodity in American agriculture. They're used in animal feed around the world. And human foods using soybeans and soy-based products have enjoyed a much higher profile in recent years. Soy sauce is one of those foods. And here in Kentucky, serving up the sauce means using a down-home recipe. Soy sauce has been a valuable food ingredient in Asia for more than 2,000 years. And while soy sauce is produced in the United States, it's not necessarily a condiment you associate with Kentucky. Matt Jamie says that's just one of the reasons his company is unique.
I can easily say that I'm the only microbrewer of soy sauce in the U.S. But if you go to Japan, there's about 1,500 microbrewers. Over there, it's a lot like wine in France, beer in Germany, or bourbon here. It's very regional.
Matt spent years researching this specialty food item before he finally sunk his teeth into brewing soy sauce in the bluegrass state.
I mean, I'm a blonde-haired guy in Kentucky that makes soy sauce, and it just sounds funny, but it really works. The fact that we're doing it in Kentucky makes perfect sense because of what we have around us. Not only the heritage and history with bourbon, but also, you know, this limestone filtered spring water that we have, which is the reason why all the distilleries are here.
Aside from locally grown soybeans and clean Kentucky water, Matt says his ingredients include winter wheat, sea salt, yeast, and one other important fermenting feature: bourbon barrels, specifically from historic Kentucky distilleries.
Now, these barrels are, you know, unique in that they've had the bourbon in them already. You know, Woodford Reserve, it's in there for 7 years. So when we take them apart, you know, you can smell that. You know, so all this is going to go into our soy sauce. So it's exciting. You know, I could say it's intoxicating.
The process starts with cooking the soybeans for about 5 hours.
We want them to be nice and soft. You can squeeze them between your fingers.
Yeah, you're there, you're set, you're ready to go.
So that allows the yeast to penetrate.
Matt then refines the wheat. Why is it important to crack it up?
Well, this will open up the wheat for the yeast. So, you know, the soybeans get cooked to make them soft so the yeast can penetrate. The wheat gets roasted and cracked so the yeast can penetrate.
The two ingredients are mixed and inoculated with yeast. The mixture is then allowed to cook in these aging drawers for 2.5 days, becoming what the Japanese call koji, a form of dry mash.
Over the course of 2.5 days, the beans start to change and the yeast takes hold. And you can see the big difference between the two here. You know, one's nice and toasty warm, and you can feel this.
Oh,
where
wow,
the yeast
what
is
a
working.
difference.
Yeah, we try and keep this under 104 degrees and above 80 degrees.
As the koji is cooking, the limestone filtered water is mixed with sea salt, creating a brine in the wooden bourbon barrels. Then, the koji is added to the liquid, aging in the barrels and becoming a wet mash. Matt says his intent is to create a condiment with rich, well-developed flavors. He says many factory-made soy sauces are produced quickly. His will take 12 months.
I think it gives a bolder flavor. It gives a more well-rounded flavor. It's a little sweeter, and it has a hint of that oak that has been saturated with bourbon.
After that year of aging, the mash is scooped from the barrels and ladled into a press lined with muslin.
At this point, all the soy sauce flavors, the leather, the meat, the broth, has all those, they call the umami flavors, have started to develop in here.
The muslin is then wrapped over the mash. Boards and a jack are placed on top, and the mixture is squeezed, pressing the soy sauce into a container below.
Gonna add just a touch more of his soy sauce.
As the executive chef at a Louisville restaurant, Edward Lee uses soy sauce in many of his Asian American creations. But he says at first, he didn't believe in Matt's project.
I thought it was pretty crazy, but luckily enough, I actually was open-minded enough to go and try it, because once I tried it, I realized it really is some of the best soy sauce I've ever had.
Chef Lee says Matt's soy sauce is part of a trend he sees in food production in America.
You know, that's part of what makes American cuisine right now really exciting. It's not just the chefs that are doing great things, but it's the people, the cheesemakers, the dairy farmers, all the people that are producing great foods here in America.
Although Matt is celebrating 5 years of continued growth, he says his main marketing hurdle is educating the public about the differences in soy sauce, which is why he promotes his product like a fine wine.
You know, people always look at me funny when I want them to try the soy sauce, like out of a wine glass like this, but I think it's important for you to taste it and see what the differences are between, you know, what you're accustomed to having and then what else is available out there.
Well, I can tell you the aroma from your soy sauce, it makes me want to drink it like a nice wine.
Well, let's do it.
It's beautiful.